Hello students, welcome to the next video on ecosystem for class 8 biology. Today we will be reading about the topics like cultural components. Now you know that human activities have a great impact on the environment. We are not living in that same earth that was formed billions of years ago. We have changed it according to our need. And many new inventions made by the humans have impacted the environment negatively. We have caused a lot of pollution like air pollution, noise pollution, soil pollution, and the influence of human activities on the environment constitutes its cultural components. So, as ecosystem deals with the biotic and abiotic components, as we have discussed earlier, you know that cultural component is also a part of this ecosystem because that tells us about our interaction with the environment, how the abiotic and the biotic factors are affected because of human activities. Next, we will be dealing with interdependence between organisms. So we can categorize this into different parts, as you can see. Dependence of humans on plants. You know that human beings, they consume the plants, parts of the plant. They get food from the plants. For example, the potato is a modified stem, carrot root is a root which we consume, orange is a fruit that we consume, and so on. Besides the food, we also get many important things like rubber, paper, wood, and jute, etc. from the plants. Another important activities that the plants do is photosynthesis, which produces oxygen and which is again used by the humans. So they need it for respiration. Also, there are many microorganisms like the bacteria and fungi which are very useful to the humans. The yeast helps in fermentation and making the bread, and also some species of penicillium are used for producing antibiotics. Next is the dependence of other animals on plants. You know that herbivores are the plant-eating animals and they depend on the plants for their food. Also, many animals live on the trees, like the squirrels and birds. They make their home in the holes of the trees. And the birds use different materials to build up their nest. Also, ants, beetles, monkeys, all of them live on the trees. So, it is very important for them. Again, animals also use the oxygen which is given out by the plants for respiration. And even the plants depend on the animals. How? The plants, they depend on the animals because they are using the humans and the other animals for helping them in dispersal of the seeds and also in pollination. Also, the excreta of the animals, it produces the nutrients which are essential for the plants for their growth. And the carbon dioxide that is released by the humans and the other animals is used by the plants to convert it into food by the process of photosynthesis. So you can see that the animals and the plants and the other animals all are interdependent on each other by different ways and for different uses. Based on this interdependence, we are going to learn three new terms, that is symbiosis, parasitism, and predation. Now, if we talk about symbiosis, it is a close long-term relationship between the two organisms in which both the interacting organisms benefit. So, for example, I have written nitrogen-fixing bacteria. You might have heard that the leguminous plants, they have the root nodules in their roots, and those are helping them to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. These nitrogen fixing bacteria, they convert this nitrogen into the nitrates, and then the plant can absorb it and the plants can easily grow. In turn, the bacteria is as the bacteria cannot make their own food, they are getting food, and they are also able to live in the root nodules of these leguminous plants and they are getting the help for food and shelter. So in this way, both the plant and the bacteria are getting benefited. Similarly, in the lichens, there are two different species of organisms that are working together. One is the algae, which is the autotroph and can make their own food, and that supplies the food to the fungus living on it. So the fungus supplies the water and minerals to the algae. So this kind of a relationship is called symbiotic relationship, and this process is the symbiosis. Symbiosis means living together. Then the next one is parasitism. It is a relationship where an organism called the parasite, it lives in or on other organism called the host, and it derives the food from the host. So in such interaction, what happens is generally the parasite is only getting the benefit and the host is harmed. You can see I have written examples: ticks, which is an ectoparasite, and tapeworm, which is an endoparasite. So as you can see in this video, there is a tick, and the tick is called ectoparasite because the parasites live outside the host body, and that is why they are called ectoparasites. The parasites that live inside the human body or the host body are called the endoparasites, like the tapeworm generally is found in the stomach and the small intestine. Also, you have seen a fungus growing on the tree trunk, and this kind of an interaction between the fungus and the tree, the fungus is the parasite that obtains the food and shelter from the tree. The tree is the host, which is weakened in the process. Next is predation. This is an interaction in which one organism called the predator captures and eats the other organism called the prey. This is called the predation. And as you can see in this video, there is a chameleon, which is a predator here, eating up an insect, which is a prey. So there can be many examples, like a tiger eating a deer, where tiger is a predator and the deer is a prey. A snake is a predator eating a rat, so rat is a prey. So that interaction in which one organism captures and eats the other organism is called predation. Now, types of ecosystem. There can be two types of ecosystems when we broadly categorize as natural ecosystem and the artificial or the man-made ecosystem. The natural ecosystem consists of two types. It may be a terrestrial or the land-based type, or an aquatic or water-based type. Now, in the diagram, you can see a sea. A sea is an example of an aquatic natural ecosystem. An artificial or a man-made ecosystem is the one made by the humans, by man, and it includes gardens, parks, crop fields, aquariums, and so on. As you can see here, there is an example of a garden, which is a man-made ecosystem. Also here you can see another terrestrial ecosystem, which is a part of the natural ecosystem, which is the desert. And the other one shows an artificial or man-made ecosystem, which is an aquarium. Next, we shall be discussing in detail about the forest ecosystem. Forests are one of the largest and the most complex ecosystems, and you know that it occupies around 1/3 of the land on earth. It is a rich source of biodiversity. You can see different kinds of plants, animals, decomposers in the forest. And in India, around 1/5 of the total land of India is occupied by forest. Also, they are of different kinds, so several types of forest are there, like temperate or tropical forest, which depends on the temperature, wet and dry forest, depending upon how much rainfall it gets, and evergreen or deciduous forest, depending on the type of flowers or flora that are found there. To discuss the components of the Let us now discuss the components of a forest ecosystem, which consist of biotic as well as abiotic components. You can see the various biotic components of a forest ecosystem, which includes the producers, consumers, and decomposers. The producers are mainly the herbs, shrubs, and the trees, and there is a lot of different varieties of grasses, ferns, and creepers in the forest, and different kinds of berries, herbs, and shrubs. The tree in a forest are the home to thousands of birds and animals. Also, you can see that the herbivores are generally like deer, nilgai, elephants that feed on the grasses and shrubs. Then we have the leaf hoppers, bugs, and beetles also in the feeding on the grass. The carnivores include the tigers, lions, and foxes that consume mainly by the method of predation. And there are different kinds of predatory birds as well, like eagle and kite. The decomposers generally consist of bacteria and fungi, which derive the nutrition from the dead and decaying organisms, which include both plants and animals. In the abiotic components, we can see that it includes air rich in oxygen, water contained in the several water bodies, and the organic and the inorganic compounds in trees and soil, as well as we can find the dead remains of plants and animals. The climatic factors like sunlight, temperature, rainfall, and humidity, it plays a very important role in determining the flora and fauna of the forest ecosystem. In temperate forests, the climate changes a lot from summer to winter, and in tropical forests, the climate remains constant throughout the year. And water keeps on circulating in a forest ecosystem. In India, there is a great diversity of forest, like the rainforest of Kerala in the south to the alpine forest of Ladakh in the north, from the deserts of Rajasthan in the west to the evergreen forest in the northeast. So there is a lot of different varieties of plants, and the non and the abiotic components also help in the development of the forest ecosystem. And finally, summarizing the importance of forest, as you can see, the forest, they are serving as a storehouse of biodiversity and biological resources. They regulate the climate and atmosphere of the forest and also of the earth, and they absorb the carbon dioxide and release oxygen because there are many trees in the forest. They play an important role in maintaining the water cycle, and it brings about rain. The trees in the forest help to prevent the soil erosion, and it reduces the floods. There are so many trees which provide us timber, medicines, fuel, and fodder for our health. Also, the forest help in reducing the global warming. So, with this, I'm very sure you have understood all the parts of this chapter ecosystem which is needed for your syllabus. Thank you for watching.